Tell a man pass it, pull up and cross it. I'll bury that top corner. I'm a winger on the left, cut right. You can play me on the middle, I'm still top scorer. New studs on my boots, I'm blessed. No shin pads, I live in the edge. Got my belly on the pitch, but the referee's finna pop that chest. Hey, hit the thing with the outside foot, like Roberto ball in the air.
Yes, people, how's it going? It's your boy Jay. Now, this has been something now in the pipeline for a while. Something I've therefore wanted to do, but never really come around to getting it done. Always been something in the way. Schedule's been packed, or I don't know. There's always been something. That's probably one positive about this whole quarantine thing. You know, it's given me time, more time than I usually have. So I've been able to go through with this, execute it. So I'm pleased to present you the very first episode of the TheFootballist Podcast. Round of applause. Okay. So, as it's the first episode, I do want to get off with a bang. You know, obviously, I ain't for every episode to be good, but the very first one has to be the bang. So, got a special guest with me today. You know, if you don't know him, I really do have to question what you're doing on the ground. You've been living under a rock. I don't know. But if you don't know about him before, you're definitely going to know about him now. So, today's guest on the very first episode of the TheFootballist Podcast, you may have seen us do a lot of collaborations, loads of edits. You know, as I said, this guy's one of the best on the Instagram scene when it comes to video editing. Make way for Galazzo first.
Hello.
How's it going?
Thank you for having me, bro. I'm good, man. I'm good.
It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, man. Quarantine and that.
Trust me, bro. So long. So wait, do you want me to call you by Galazzo first, or?
Well, most people know me by Dave, but my real name's David, so that's all right.
Alright, cool. We'll run with David today.
Cool.
So, introduce yourself. Tell people about yourself. I'll leave a link to like all your Instagram, YouTube, stuff like that in the description below.
Yes, I'm David. Go by Gloss first on Instagram. Basically, I just make football videos. I've got over 70,000 followers now. I've been doing this for about 3 years on 3 different accounts. So yeah, it's just making football videos, about one every week. Just try to put a creative spin on obviously the game we both love. Yeah, that's about it really.
That's good. As I said, if you ain't checked him out, be sure to check him out. So, as this is the very first episode of the TheFootballist Podcast, you guys kind of don't know the structure, how it's going to run. I'm going to explain the structure, how we're meant to ideally want to run it, and then you should kind of get used to it as future episodes go on and on and on. So, the aim is to do a little debate / rankings in the first part, and then we'll slowly move on to a little general discussion about current events, which, technically speaking, is a bit of an awkward time for me to do that because there's literally nothing going on in the football world as we speak.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll find something. There's always something.
Exactly.
So, and then that's the second part. Then the third part is where I want to get you guys, my followers, kind of interactive with this podcast. So I put on my Instagram story, send me your best would you rathers, and today we are going to go through one of them which I've selected. Shout out to that person who sent that through, and yeah, that's the real structure of it. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight on with it. So
let's go.
Today's topic will be the top 3, or who are our top 3 most underrated players in the Premier League.
Yes.
I say this season. We'll run with this season, but kind of in recent time. But like, kind of maybe this season, yeah. So, as you're the guest, I'm going to let you take it away. What we'll do is we'll both say our top 3, run from third to first. So,
from third to first. Okay. Yeah, I had, let's say, a weird time doing this, only because I know that there's a bit of contention, like obviously ratings and stuff in football is so controversial. So these are my opinions, assuming that I don't think that they're rated as they should be. Yeah. So the three I've gone with are, starting from last, I'll go with Pogba.
Okay.
Followed by Pereira, the left back at Leicester. Top, I'll go with, I don't know if you've chosen this one, but I'm going to go with Leroy Sané.
Okay. People know that's one of my favourite players. So
yeah.
I'm back here on that one. So, just to kind of explain your decisions, really.
So, with Pogba, it's obviously, as an Arsenal fan, we're both Arsenal fans, it's easy to make a joke and like, he's 100 million down the drain and all that type of stuff. But I think we can all agree that he's one of the worst. Like, at the time, it was obviously a controversial move, but if there was anyone to spend £100 million on, it would be probably Paul Pogba.
Definitely.
Obviously,
upcoming midfielder,
exactly.
Champions League, all of that.
Exactly, and he's one of them players that I just consider like doesn't play to their age. So he's obviously about 20. I think he's 26 now. Yeah. But at the time, he was like 24, and he was practically running European midfields. So he's come to United, and the issue with players nowadays is that they kind of get too associated to the teams that they play for. Yeah. So I was like, the example I can think of is Aubameyang. Like, Aubameyang's a world-class striker. Like, he's second top scorer last season, but he plays for Arsenal, who are going through like a tough time. So it's kind of hard to differentiate that between the players. But for Pogba, it's kind of, because he's come with the expectation of being £100 million. He's like the talisman. He's on paper the most talented player. I think he's given too much criticism and expectations, which is then therefore United not being as good as they should have. It's kind of turned to him being disrespected and then in turn underrated. It's
kind of weird with Pogba, because like I kind of do see where people are coming from one sense. Like, I'm not gonna go around and say he's the most consistent player.
Exactly.
He does have his inconsistencies, but I don't really feel like, if you look at, obviously he came in 2016, we're in 2020, it's been 4 years, and that 4 year span, I don't really feel like United have really kind of built a team around him, or at least built some team towards his level, or his aspirations, stuff like that. And it's like, I kind of don't think United kind of knew what they were buying with Pogba as well. I feel like they just bought for the romance and stuff like that.
For the name as well.
Exactly. Like, this, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but he's a luxury player. Like,
100%.
He's not someone, like, he's not someone who will like Gerrard, who will just carry your team. But like, if you've got an 8 out of 10 team, he will definitely make it a 10 out of 10. Kind of like Ozil.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't really expect that.
100%. The example that I would say with that is the French team. For example, they have Matuidi, Kante. Like, they have one of the best midfields in the world, obviously world champions. Definitely. But he still stood out, and he was playing with Giroud, Mbappe, combining the Griezmann, combining with the defense. Like, these big, like, he's still like really well recognised. Exactly, he did his thing, and that World Cup, the way he was playing, I think a lot of players have this, or even see this. It was like, this is what I can do. Like, ordered, like United. I think so. That season, I forgot where they had finished, but it wasn't obviously the most glamorous season, and it kind of felt as if it was like, what's his next move type of thing. Like, is he gonna push on? Is the whole system gonna change? And are they gonna buy players and all that stuff? And this tournament kind of showed how important he is, or how important he can be to a team. That, I don't want to say play to his strengths, because I have a problem with playing to his strengths, only because I still think it's a team of 11, and it's unfair to make the rest of them 10 players play for one player. Yeah. But if you kind of recognise what position he can play, do you know what I mean? Like, definitely. At United, he's been put at centre attacking mid, defensive mid, standard box to box, and it's kind of like, what do you want from him? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. No. It's kind of like filling gaps.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. Like, therefore a top player on his day. Has been a bit inconsistent, but just he's a bit too over criticised when you really look at him. Like, should never always be the talking points. And then on a separate one, you always see like in the midst of the criticism, it's like talking about his I don't know, Instagram, hairstyle, lifestyle. It's like just seems a bit too much like a forced agenda. Like kind of veers away from his football ability and onto other stuff.
When I hear stuff like that, it's just
you just look it off, like you don't even, like what are you talking about?
And I think through that you can sense that realistically there's not much basis to the football inside of their point.
Definitely.
And I have the thing is, Pogba and Ozil, I think they're just so comparable in terms of the way that they're viewed by their teams.
Literally.
So I hate to keep bringing them up, but the thing with Ozil's wages and stuff like that, that's the most. He's not really on his Instagram. He's a bit humanitarian. Like he has a good PR team, whatever.
Yeah.
But it goes back to his wages, and then you're thinking, he didn't walk into that boardroom and give himself £350,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been given to him, and he has to deal with that on a daily basis. So he can only do what he can on the pitch.
Bro, I've never kind of understood the wages argument. That's like the main argument that's always thrown in. I was thinking like, all right, cool. You know, in the last 2 years, there's been loads of circumstances, loads of factors, but he hasn't been towards his previous level. We can all admit that, but why do you keep referring to the wages? He didn't, like, it's not in his hands, it's the club's hand. If there's anyone to be angry at. I think it was Gazidis at the time, he was doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the whole wages thing is a point in itself. I don't want to digress too much, but it was basically him or Alexis.
Exactly.
And Ozil, the reasons why are a bit contentious, but he wanted to stay, so he was the most likely to convince.
Yeah,
exactly. Because I look at the wage sometimes, and it obviously bears weight somehow, because it's like, obviously I'm not personally paying the whole time, but you do feel a connection, and the fact that he's on like clear of everyone else. I think Aubameyang and those guys on high 100,000s. It kind of does set a hierarchy, and it's like you are much better. But in terms, you can just think of like it's a bit wishy-washy, but like the commercial value that they bring and the brand that he is and stuff like that. Like they can afford. They're not breaking the bank to pay in that. That's how I always think of it.
Yeah, but no, therefore I agree with the Pogba shot. So we'll move on to number 2.
Number 2, I'll go with Ricardo Pereira, wing back at Leicester. Yeah. Now, I'm not this one's a bit contentious because I think the past couple of months he's been getting the respect that he deserves. So he came from the Portuguese league. I'm not 100% sure which team, but he's been like, I think with defenders, I have like different ways of rating defenders. So attackers and strikers, it's like, have I noticed you? Have you made an impact on the game?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I know that so-and-so was playing this game. Midfielders is a bit different, but with defenders, I always think it's like the ones who don't get mentioned, because that probably means they're doing their job and they haven't stood out necessarily because of the mistakes that they've made.
Therefore,
I think someone more famous than me has said that, but yeah.
I mean, so even as a fullback, like nowadays in a modern game, that's probably the hardest position to do.
And it's been reinvented, but at such like a high level, because we went from a time where the only fullback you would think of was like Dani Alves and Philip Lahm.
Yeah.
But now there's I don't want to say millions, but there's like a good 20 players, and he is definitely up there in terms of the league, high up there in the number of tackles. He still contributes goals,
arguably,
good crosses.
Like in the team of the season this season.
100%, exactly. He's like keeping that Leicester clock going. Like it seems like clockwork with them.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely though, because it's like, I mean, Trent does get like the credit he deserves. Because I feel like, I mean,
100%.
to be honest, yeah, I don't know if I'm just kind of viewing this just from Twitter, because you can't really take every opinion you see on Twitter seriously.
Yeah.
But, I mean, nowadays Trent has been kind of underrated, because I still feel like he is like the best right back in the league.
100%. I don't want to bring that up because I think that's a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one, yeah, because there are people who definitely rate him. So it's like,
because the thing with the evolving wing back position is then what is your role per se? Like, what's the attribute that they have that is most important? So the argument with Trent and probably Bissaka, maybe for example, is that Bissaka is clearly like a better physically a better defender, exactly. Whereas Trent is way more creative. Obviously, there's the whole meme of crossing inshallah, but I still think that there's still like a certain knack to the attacking side of being a fullback.
Yeah.
Even just think, this sounds a bit silly, but things like being able to attack but not leaving your position so wide open. Literally. I remember, I think it was Bellerin, I think used to think, or Maitland-Niles is. He came in obviously as a midfielder, so he was always attacking. But there would be stages where he's gone and attacked, we lose the ball, and suddenly there's just a massive gap. And you know, Arsenal with them tricky wingers, a winger would have like a field day against these guys, and it's not because they're miles better. It's because the spaces that they would give up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so I think the ability to go back and forth throughout the game.
Exactly, and I think. Pereira, going back to him, he's a good example of the balance between attack and defence. I wouldn't say he's the... I don't know.
He's a good balance.
I wouldn't say he's the...
Like, you look at your Aaron Wan-Bissakas, and credit to him, great defensively, but maybe going forward, there's not a lot, but definitely work to be done.
Exactly.
Trent,
and it's obviously that thing... Sorry, before you... It's obviously that thing, we're not saying that Bissaka hasn't put in a cross and we've scored. I remember he's put in plenty of crosses, but it's kind of to the standard of the other person we're mentioning.
Yeah.
So.
And then you've got like Trent, who, again, I feel like defensively, he gets a bit of a hard time. I don't think he's as awful as people make out defensively. But comparing defensively to Wan-Bissaka is better. And like, you've got your Pereiras, who just has a great balance of both of them.
Exactly.
Okay, I do agree with that one, because, as I said, he deserves some team of the season shouts, and you don't really see his name in the discussion at least that often. So I can agree with that one. So number one is Mr. Leroy Sané. Now, I was speaking to my friend on Instagram about this, and just seeing the transfer talk about him going to Bayern, terrible injury that he had, and kind of just like the talent that Man City have in itself in terms of wingers. And I think that Leroy Sané is given a hard time in terms of, in general, really, I think he's pretty underrated. Completely. Even by Pep.
Yeah, exactly. That was where I was going to start. So I was going to start with Pep Guardiola. Now, people could bring up numbers and things like this, and it's hard because he's played such limited games. I think in the 21 starts he's had, I think last season he only got around 10 goals. I say only 10 goals, but this is obviously compared to some of the others. But he is like a bit part player, and obviously Man City have the likes of Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva. So juggling that talent is almost unfair in itself. But I still think for obviously they can afford to spend money on crazy amounts of players. But going back to his Schalke days as well, the fact that he was at such a young age making headlines, like scoring in the Bernabeu, doing when Schalke were back in the Champions League, like even domestically in the league, they obviously didn't win, but they were like doing their thing. And the fact he stood out, I think he got Germany call-ups from quite young as well.
Yeah.
But
he was balling from time.
Exactly, and I say only 24. He's still 24, so I hope that he does make the right decision in his career and go to a team where he will be valued to therefore then show his skill. So one thing I would agree with is that he's not shown statistically, I would say, the things that he can do. But an example I can think of is the Liverpool games. I think last season or the season before, he played against them like 5 times, including the league. One of the times in the Champions League, fair enough, he did get quieted by Alexander-Arnold, but I think Champions League, Liverpool's a bit different. But in the league, I think he scored in every single appearance, twice at home, away, and in the home game that they had beaten Liverpool. Do you know the one where he scored, I think it was the second goal?
Yeah, no, like his record against Liverpool is amazing. I feel his record against the big sides is quite underrated.
He scored against Arsenal,
United.
He scored against Arsenal at home, away, United. He's done like his thing.
Yeah, Liverpool, I think he scored in the 5-0 win. I think he scored twice. Yeah. He scored one tapping at the near post, then that banger in the last minute.
Yeah.
Then he scored in the loss in the Champions League. He equalised it. Then Liverpool ran away with it.
Yeah.
He won the penalty in a 0-0 draw. But obviously, Mahrez blazed it over. Obviously, he scored the key goal. Literally, man. He took the penalty. He had his chest up, thinking, "Boom! Like this is my penalty. I'm gonna have my name in the lights."
Even Mahrez could be on this list, but
yeah, I mean, he was. I was gonna put him, but we'll come across my list when it comes around.
Yeah.
But like Leroy Sané, I feel like Stefan underrated. I don't know if it's just like me getting excited because he's usually one of my favorite players. But
yeah,
when he was having that breakout season, 17-18, when Pep won his first league title, I did think he could touch Mbappe's level. Like he could at 100%. One point, if he reaches his potential, goes to Real Madrid or properly makes his name in the Premier League, he could be the third best player in the world. Maybe when Ronaldo and Messi retire, could fight for that top spot.
Exactly.
He's one of the best dribblers, one of the best long shots, skillful. Like he's got everything you need in the wing.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, no, I do feel like he's underrated because people just forgotten all about him.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think he has been, I don't want to say plagued by injuries because honestly, I don't actually remember the injuries that he had before. He just wasn't getting played. I remember watching games and Pep would bring him on in like the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Never made sense.
And obviously, these guys were winning the league. Like, I'm not saying that Sané was like missing or whatever, but it was still a bit of an unfair run out. The one I did think was controversial. He didn't go to the World Cup, isn't that?
Oh yeah.
That was when I thought maybe.
And that didn't even make sense because that was after arguably his greatest ever season.
Yeah.
He won Young Player of the Year. Only missed out on Player of the Year because of Salah, who just that season. Like it goes without saying, he broke records.
Yeah.
Like incredible. So you're not going to beat Salah, but he won Young Player of the Year, and he still didn't go to the World Cup. That made no sense to me. I
think that was when I realised that he's like, obviously Joachim Löw in himself, he makes bold and strange decisions, but that one I thought was pretty bad.
He left them
because he was doing well in the qualifiers. Exactly.
Yeah. And then even then, after the whole World Cup happened, Germany bottled it, so kind of further proves the point. But
exactly,
they started playing him. And guess who's coming up with the key goals? Obviously, Gnabry's doing his thing, but Leroy Sané is still banging in the goals as well. It's them two on each wing, killing it.
So, if this deal to Bayern goes through, I do hope for his sake it's not just a glamorous move. But if him and Gnabry can get going,
could be something.
Bayern, it could be serious. It could be very serious.
If he does go to Bayern Munich, I mean, this is just like random. Not really random, but it's just like Alphonso Davies will definitely be a left back for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Because obviously he did start out as a winger, and that is his side. So it's like, if Sané does come, I don't see a future for Davies as a winger. But
I
feel
think-
like he's done bits at left back anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I think he has I don't want to say sadly, but he had done well, and he's obviously following in the steps of them attacking wingers, like his assist versus
Yeah, you could
Chelsea.
say. I don't really know what he wants to do in the future, but if he
Yeah.
wanted to be a winger, he's kind of fallen victim to his own success.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Saka, he's done bits at left back for us, but
Yeah,
ultimately speaking, I don't really know if he really wants to be there. He's obviously just filling in, because
Yeah.
when you're younger, you just go wherever the manager sends you. So team player, yeah.
First team time.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do agree with a lot of your top three, especially Sanya.
Yeah.
So I might as well get into my top three. So
Yeah.
my top three underrated players in the Premier League will go from third to first. Etienne Capoue of Watford, Mohamed Salah in second place, and Emiliano Buendia at top.
Yes.
So
I knew you'd go with that one.
yeah, definitely I've been screaming his name all season.
Yeah.
He needs the plaudits. So I guess you could say Salah is my kind of controversial one when it comes to whether he's rated, whether he's not. But we'll delve into that one when we get into it. So number 3, Etienne Capoue. I just feel like he's been underrated, not just this season, past 3 seasons. He's been so solid for Watford in that kind of defensive mid spot. And obviously he's in the pairing with Doucouré.
Yeah.
And them two as a pairing, again, that's an underrated pairing overall.
100%.
But when it comes to people talking about Watford's midfield, everyone's always talking about Doucouré. And rightly so, because he's still doing bits and he's getting the credit he deserves. But a lot of his success wouldn't be as high as it is without Etienne Capoue always there to do the dirty work, clean up. And then it allows players like Doucouré to roam forward a bit more often and, do his thing with progress on the ball. So, I just feel like Etienne Capoue just doesn't get the credit he deserves. Like when it comes to we're talking about the top DMs in the league.
Yeah.
31 years old right now. I'd still say he can get into most teams in the tops. And I wouldn't say most, because I feel like Fernandinho is still top tier. You got Fabinho again; he's still top tier. Although he did get injured, he could have a shout on Arsenal side. I mean, because the thing about it is Torreira on his game, or let's just say last season when he was on form, it's hard to put Capoue over him. But
I wrote down Torreira on my underrated list. I wasn't going to mention him. But yeah.
I can agree with Torreira. His name got kind of tarnished under the whole Emery saga, but less said about that man, the better.
Yes.
But Etienne Capoue is just underrated. Underrated is the perfect word for him.
Definitely agree, and I think he was a victim of. He was obviously at Spurs, and when you go from obviously, I hate to admit, Tottenham are at the time they weren't hitting the heights that they are now. But going from Tottenham to then go to Watford, and
it's a downgrade.
Watford in itself will always have that. They're not one of the top teams in the league, I think it's fair to say. And then going through their records, and then you thinking of who are the defenders in these teams. I don't remember. Okay, other than the cup final. They obviously got to the FA Cup final, which was great last season. But I don't think I never really look at Watford as a defensively weak team, and I think it is due to those two doing their thing in the midfield.
Because they haven't had amazing defenders over the years. I feel like he just needs a bit more credit. As you said, joint Spurs at an awkward time. He was one of the bigger signings. Like fee-wise, he was in the mid-20s, I believe, if I remember right. So you kind of expected something from him. Didn't really work out, but kudos to him. He revived his career, made his name again at Watford, and just feel like he deserves a bit more credit than he gets. Currently, all right, second, Mohamed Salah. That's the arguably controversial one, but I always fight his case, and I still will fight his case, because it's like everyone's just using him as a diving merchant, tapping merchant, all this, and it's like, you're disrespect. Like, I even put him in my Premier League team of the decade for the last decade just gone, and it's like loads of people got onto me, and I'm thinking, this is a man who's won back-to-back Golden Boots. Some of your favourite strikers couldn't even do that.
100%.
32 goals in a Premier League season, if you put that into perspective. No other player's done that. I think only Alan Shearer and Andy Cole done that, but they done it on when it used to be 42 games. Yeah. So obviously it's an unfair drama. So
more games.
Exactly.
And this was a transitional Liverpool as well. Yeah. They were obviously under Klopp at the time, but he was brought in as a what? Why are you signing Salah from Roma? He flopped at Chelsea a couple of years ago. And the fact that, I think it's that season for me. Yeah. The fact that he hit the ground running. Obviously, he had been in the Premier League, to be fair to him. And I don't think he was a flop per se.
I don't think he was a flop either. I just feel like he wasn't given enough of a chance.
That time at Chelsea, if players like De Bruyne and Lukaku and all them guys, it's unfair to Exactly, it's unfair to give these guys.
Yeah, that Chelsea side was just stacked. You know,
it's unfair to give these guys flop.
You look at their youth at the time; they couldn't even get in. They had loads of players out on loan. Like, as a whole squad, it was just stacked. And Mourinho, Conte. Well, I think he was sold by the time Conte came, but definitely Mourinho and was he there for Benitez? No, I think his whole career was under Mourinho at Chelsea. Yeah. Mourinho just had his favourites. He had his kind of winning formula, winning squad. He had his place to bring off the bench, and Salah just didn't fit into it. I wouldn't really call him a flop because he didn't play enough for you to say he's a flop. Just never give him a chance. But I just feel like the disrespect on Mohamed Salah's name, people need to cut it out, because it's like, even this season, I mean,
he's still putting out numbers.
Definitely. Like, I haven't checked it, but I'm pretty sure he's on more than 10 goals. I think top scorer 100%. Right now is Aubameyang on 17, I want to say.
Vardy's got 19, and then Aubameyang's got 17. Salah's got 16, one behind.
16? Point proven. You know, you give Salah a good game out, I don't know, Watford, West Ham, get a couple more. He could have gone for a third Golden Boot in a row. Only Thierry Henry's ever done that. Like, and it's like, people just and I don't really know where it's come from, because I don't know about you, but me personally, I remember Mohamed Salah's in his first season, everyone loved him.
Yeah, that was the thing. I think it was a weird change, because I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't, when he signed, I wasn't saying, wow, look at these guys, he's gonna be amazing. Obviously, I just didn't really have an opinion, but I think when a player commands your respect, like this guy was hit the whole point of hitting the ground running. Remember that goal he scored against Arsenal, and that sad one of the many sad losses. He scored away at Arsenal. He scored against every single big team. He's performed at every single big game, and I think those are the fixtures where it's like you have to show up and stand up and be counted, the phrase goes. And I think key performances I can remember, the anniversary of which is coming up, is the one against Roma.
Oh, and incredible.
One of the best individual performances in the Champions League.
I think that was when he was at the literal peak of his powers. Like, I remember he couldn't be stopped that period. Like, every shot he took from outside of, even, I mean, his Puskas goal gets a lot of stick, and maybe there was a better goal that season. I can't remember who scored it, but there was one goal in the Brazilian league that was nuts. That probably should have won it, but people underrate the goal he scored against Everton that won the Puskas. Like, he had to hold off another man, couple dribbles inside out, and inside the box from an acute angle, still managed to curl it into the top. That was a mad goal. Crazy goal.
Coming off the left. That was the thing I wanted to mention. He's not He's not your, obviously Aubameyang played on the left, but he's not your Aguero. He's not your Aubameyang when he plays at striker. Like, at heart, I still think of him as a winger. Obviously, their attack is not.
He's an inside forward / winger, but still
it's not the most.
wide.
It's not the most traditional, but he's on the left. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not a number 9.
And like one part of his going on.
He's still putting up numbers, and just being part of that Liverpool attack, and still obviously Mane's now getting the respect that I think he deserves, but he's still like the Mane Salah debate is so like fierce.
I do feel like
he's still doing that.
I don't know. I feel like he is still the more important player than Mane. You know, credit to Mane. He's still doing his thing and everything, but that's another like kind of way that people are underrating Mane Salah. When I don't mean in a disrespectful way, but I don't feel like Sadio Mane is the better player of them two. You know, Salah's still important for them. As you said, he scored against all the big sides. Scored against Chelsea. Scored against Arsenal. I don't think has he scored against. No, he has scored against Man City in the Champions League.
Yeah, he's scored against City, but I don't think he scored against United.
Yeah, scored against. No, he scored against United that time in the last minute.
Oh yeah.
That was his first goal against United, but he ticked them off. Tottenham done it in the Champions League final.
Things like that, like the speed that he still has, and the strength, and just the composure.
His strength is so underrated.
Yeah.
Like when people say he goes down like I don't know, flies or something lightweight.
Yeah.
It's like, have you actually seen him play, or you just running what people say on Twitter?
I think the thing with diving is diving has now become a part of football in a way that I think that internally in clubs, and the thing with VAR and the referees not being the high standard, I still think it's being coached into them. And obviously, I'm not a professional footballer, but I still think there's a bit of like, if you feel contact, you're going to assume that there's probably you may as well take it. Because if you stay on your feet, the thing that surprised me is remember when he got pulled back by David Luiz and he still technically stood up, and it was kind of like, oh, what's going on? I think things like that just show that there's much more to dive in than is made out to be. And definitely. I think it's unfair to brandish a player a diver per se, because obviously the strength that these footballers and those guys in particular possess, but it's also much more, I think, sadly, I think it's a bit more tactical.
It's tactical, and then like I can't name a player right off the top of my head, but being someone who has played football, like, hard to explain it, but you kind of interpret an action that's coming in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like if someone's coming if someone's coming for a tackle, it's like you're gonna try and move out of the way, but you're still gonna try and keep up with the play. In the process, it might look like you are falling over, but that's just you trying to adjust and adapt to the current situation you're in.
Yeah, so, and the speed of the Premier League,
like there's so much factors. It's a bit too harsh and unfair to just label someone straight diver.
And then to bring, like you were saying, to then bring down their quote unquote rating, like their value to a team and their skill is a bit. I think that's wrong.
Yeah. So Mohamed Salah definitely takes the second. And in first place, we got Emiliano Buendia, Argentinian wide forward, you could say. Sometimes plays central for Norwich City. I mean, with all this coronavirus thing, we don't actually know when they will get relegated, but they were on course to getting relegated. And
sadly, yes. They started off well, but
definitely started off well. And you're thinking, boom, like you beat Man City, put up a good fight against Tottenham, beat us. And you're thinking, this Norwich team looks serious. They got a nice style of play, philosophy, good players across the pitch. But I don't even know what's happened. But they just fallen off like differently. And
I think with them, it was a bit of championship quality as well. Yeah, things like that. No offense to any of the players, but in terms of like going away to like, I can't think of a stadium, but I'm just going to give the example of the Emirates. Much different to playing at Carrow Road, and still.
I mean, I've never been Carrow Road, but I heard the atmosphere down is crazy.
It's crazy. I remember when we played against Norwich 2015 when they were in the league. I remember 2 of our players got injured and we struggled. Like, Arsenal were a bit of a different kettle of fish, but Carrow Road was a place. Even Liverpool had tough times against Norwich. Obviously, they would end up winning. But
yeah, that was the first game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, therefore, I feel like Buendia is being probably the most underrated player this season.
100%.
His creative numbers, take-ons, chances created, dribbles through the roof. Like literally, he's within top 3 of all of those stuff that you need for your attacking players, and gets none. I don't know. I just thought he doesn't get any. I don't see his name in any discussion. You see your Madisons, you see your Grealishes, and again, when I name these players, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. They're getting the credit they deserve.
Yeah, they deserve that. 100%.
He also needs that credit that they're getting as well.
Yeah,
you know?
it's been amongst the upper echelons, as they say. And
therefore,
it would be a pleasure to having that the Emirates, but I think when they get relegated, you can just tell that, or you hope that he will be.
We can hope, but we're Arsenal. When we're not that proactive, we don't use our initiative like that.
Yeah,
I
wonder who will.
I really do, because whoever gets him, you're getting a bargain.
Exactly, because it's just like
talent. When they go down,
talent in the Premier League as well to perform at. I wouldn't say he's carrying the team, but to perform for a bad team creatively, I think it says a lot about a player.
Yeah, I'd say it's one downfall. If I remember right, he only has 1 goal to his name in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So maybe his end product it's not even could. 1 goal, you could definitely work more on that and get a bit more. But I feel that's something that will come within time.
I think that's what helps with getting your name out as well in terms of being underrated.
Yeah, like let's say he didn't put up his creative numbers; they were just average numbers, but he had 9 goals to his name.
Yeah,
people will probably talk about him a lot more than
100%.
But then even that, he still is within like top 3 assisters or up there. So he's got that kind of side of things nailed on end product wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, like he needs a lot more credit. And obviously, once this is all done, once football resumes and Norwich do get relegated, he will definitely go for a cut fee, because obviously when players get relegated, they go a lot cheaper for some reason.
Yeah, sadly, but just cashing in, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like I've seen Liverpool's name get talked about, but it's not too much. I've seen Cantwell get linked to Liverpool more. So it is interesting who will end up signing, and it's like one of those things where they won't notice him now, but if he was to sign for Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Tottenham,
100%.
then replicate those performances again, people then start to talk about him.
Yeah.
So, people need to put some respect on Emiliano Buendia's name.
Some respect on his name, cause...
Okay. So, that's both our rankings, top 3 words. Be sure to... I don't know, do they do comments on any of these stuff?
I guess you could comment our comments, maybe.
Yeah, I guess just leave your thoughts, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
DM us.
I'll probably I'll be here to debate.
Cool.
So, moving on to the next part of the segment, or next segment of the show, should I say, where we just kind of discuss current events, and there will be one topic. I guess this topic has to be just the coronavirus situation.
Yeah.
What you think should happen going forward. As a heads up, in this kind of heads up for the viewers, should I say, this kind of segment is like, obviously I would like to be talking about current events, but obviously there's no football, so we can't really discuss them. If I was to name an example, if you remember the Xhaka situation the other day with the captaincy, that would be something we discuss in this part, or stuff like that, but obviously nothing to discuss other than coronavirus, COVID-19, all of that. So What do you kind of think should happen for the season? Do you think she get voided, carry on?
I think my opinions on this almost change by the day, as obviously the situation, you could say, becomes clearer or develops or whatever happens. And you see, like, think of like a timeline of the league saying, "Oh, we'll be back by April" and stuff like this. And just like I think the severity of it has been, because I don't want to come on too much. I'm not obviously a health professional at all. I don't want to come on too much of like a health side of it.
Yeah.
But I think the unpredictability and the way we can't forecast it, you could say abnormal rate of it, makes it very hard to plan for the future. And things like leagues and football and the amount of money is involved, structure and planning is so important to obviously keep profits high and safe.
So much money involved in all of this. So.
And as well, the health of these players, because the players themselves, however you want to look at it, these guys are like walking money really for these guys. Like I don't say products. I don't know how to say it in a nicer way, but they're like, they need to be at the best that they can be, and obviously they're humans as well, so they can't. It would be ashamed for them to get ill, give it to their families, and obviously the stuff like that. So I think it goes protecting the health of the players, obviously the fans as well. The fact that there's that like tens of thousands of people all in the same place.
Yeah, I mean, it's bizarre to think that like about a couple of days before the lockdown was officially done, Anfield was packed.
And
that is crazy.
Anfield was packed, and then across the channel in Paris, technically the stadium was empty, but they were all just outside, like in a more probably condensed, much unsafer, like way more people. And it's that thing of not being able to kind of, I don't think many people have been able to fathom how crazy this is, because it's like the comparisons to the flu and all this stuff like that, and the numbers are pretty deceptive, so it doesn't properly give the clear picture.
Yeah, I haven't really done too much research on the whole coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
So anything I do say, I ain't no expert, so don't come at me.
Don't hold us to it.
I'm just exactly, man. We're just normal people. Just we keep up with it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you gotta have some form of understanding about what's going on.
100%.
It's affecting your daily life and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but I don't know, me personally, like, I feel like the season kind of has to be voided. And I know it's so unfortunate on Liverpool's side. Like, you can't write this shit. Like, they've won 30 years without a league title, never won a Premier League. They came close 2008-9, but Makeda obviously scored that iconic goal which ended that. Then obviously the Gerrard slip, the bottle at Crystal Palace ball, as people like to run with, you know. So they lost it there. They lost it last season when they had a points tally of 97. Put that into perspective, that is the third highest ever. Only to lose to the second highest ever. Then obviously the previous that was 100 points.
Yeah.
Like 97 points is 18 points more than United's treble winning side. You know,
crazy.
About 16 more than Leicester's one. Like 97 points would normally win it any other season.
Way more than unbeaten one.
Way more. Well, yeah, no. Unbeaten one still got into the 90s, so we'll crawl into that.
Pretty respect on that. Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, so for the season to get voided when they're 25 points clear, am I right?
22,
something like 22, 20, in the 20s. Like to be that much clear is insane. 2 games away. I know it seems like a whole big joke, like, boom, we're just gonna end the season now. But I don't see a explanation for it really. Like, when I say that, I mean like, we can carry on the season, but for you to carry on the season, it will have its prolonged effects.
Yeah.
So stuff like the Euros will then have to be prolonged. Then the future World Cup will then have to get prolonged. Future seasons might have to get prolonged because we don't know when this coronavirus thing will stop, but it could stop at awkward time. So
all the cup competitions as well.
Exactly. I feel like by avoiding the season, you're just ending it like that, and like at least there's no further effects, because you can carry on the season, we can force this through and make sure Liverpool get their first league title, but that could leave a dominoes effect, you know, for everything else in the future. And, you know, this whole coronavirus thing, we're in it, it's happening, but I just want it to be over and done with.
100%.
If you try and continue the season, this whole situation, technically speaking, will just never end. It will just be ongoing forever. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a subjective discussion. You know, there's no right answer, no wrong answer. Everyone's down to their opinions. But me personally, I would void the season for that. I mean, if you're Liverpool fans, I get it. You would be pissed. But, you know, your team's sick. You're still good. You just go for it the next season. That's the one positive I can say about this. Like, we're not ending the season and taking away all your borders. Like, you still got players.
Yeah.
You can, when the season of football comes back, like
you can do it all over again.
Yeah.
No, I want to agree with you, and it obviously sounds nice. Like, even little things like, I think it's like, if City still then get banned from Europe, we finished 5th the year before, so we would go into Champions League, and just like silly things like that. But I think logistically, I just don't think I don't think it can work. I don't think, because the thing is, then how does, like, I do want to look at it from like the whole perspective. Like, how does
Champions League
work? Relegation as well. Because like, what are the chances that, I think it's Aston Villa have a game or one of the teams has a game in hand? Like, what are the like, you couldn't write that. Obviously, we had our game in hand against City, wouldn't have made a difference. But
I mean, technically speaking, we could have won that game.
We could have won the game. We could have got momentum into Brighton away next week. It's just things like that. I just think it's a bit. I hear what you're saying, but I don't think they can afford to just stop it.
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
They have vowed that they will continue the season when it's safe.
The thing is, I don't want people to think that the Premier League are. I don't want to use the money as like an evil side to it, but I think these guys are more money minded, which is, I think, it's going to get dangerous, because things like, obviously they don't have much basis, but things like, we'll put them all in a hotel for 2 weeks and just
the season in a month. I've seen that going around
in St George's Park. Like, obviously, I would love that. I would love if they. I don't necessarily care what stadium they play at, but just like a Premier League game every other day or every day, that'd be great. Like,
basically like a World Cup Premier League.
100%, that'd be crazy. But like, how would that work? Like, how can they get 22 man squads times 22 teams to all just leave, stay safe, no one catch it, play these games they've not played for however many months? I'm a normal person, and I'm probably been affected by not going outside as much. These guys are like trained professionals. Obviously, they may have huge houses and all the training equipment in the world, but that match fitness and that match sharpness is at such a high level, where things like pre-season is necessary. Like, it's obviously that thing of players hate pre-season, but it's vital to them for their own health, for their own safety as well. So how would that work? Like, could they just start playing games again instantly? They'll be dropping like not a nice phrase, but dropping like flies. Like, I can just imagine all the injuries. Think about injury-prone players in itself, how they haven't been. But
that's the thing. Like, there's too many variables. There's too many factors for you to go down one specific road.
Yeah.
As you said, Liverpool are almost guaranteed the title, but technically speaking, they haven't won it yet.
No, to be honest, the one thing I can say, the one variable I think is controlled, is Liverpool winning the title. I don't want it to seem as if we're just giving them the title, because I think that's where the issue is. Like we haven't decided, or I say people haven't decided. Yeah, just give Liverpool. The Premier League hasn't decided. Yeah, just give it to them because they're Liverpool. Like they didn't lose. They lost one game. They drew one game. They beat every other team. They beat the same team that they lost to at home with ease. And 2 games away against it's just
Everton and Man City.
Yeah.
I think it was.
And the thing with the mathematical stuff like that, like they haven't technically won it. I still think that there's I don't want to describe it because obviously numbers are numbers for a reason, but there's more chance. I can't even think of an example, but the chance of City catching up,
clawing it back is near enough impossible.
Catching up and then winning it, and then going above, because then it'll get to the stage where say just Liverpool lose all their games, they'll get to the stage where they're not just going to continue losing the games. Just things like that. I think it's a bit unfair to discredit. And then even City themselves, like they've pretty much cemented their place in second.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but
it's a sticky one because they definitely deserve the title, yeah. But I just can't get away from that thing that it's not mathematic. I mean, even if you did give it to them, like you're giving them a title via email, like they probably won't feel like they won't feel like they've earned it or anything. It will just be there written. Technically, you've won the title, and you look back at it and it's like, I don't think if I was a Liverpool fan, I mean, I can't really speak as a Liverpool fan because I don't know their pain. So maybe some fans would clutch onto that, but it's like your first Premier League title isn't actually a Premier League title. I don't know, but even then,
I don't know.
Even then, cool. Let's say hypothetically they give Liverpool the title. Going back to what you said, like we can't just tick off them and that's one thing that's sorted out, and forget about the Champions League spots and
Champions League.
Literally, I get it. When we were like 6 points off top 4, we could still make a very valid argument that we could have got the Champions League. How are you going to decide that if you can't decide the Champions League, then you can't decide the title because the whole league needs to be decided. You can't just do one thing then do another. I don't know.
What I would say is on that point is, do you think? I'm not sure how this would make sense for them mid-table teams, but do you think they should do like separate playoffs? For like, I don't want to say MLS, but I'll guess a more American style.
If they can,
like the relegation zone.
If they can, find a way to match up the fixtures so everything's evenly balanced and fair, then why not? Like, but again, it's therefore a good idea if they can. If you're able to pull it off, then therefore, because with all due respect, it's like it speeds things up with the mid-table sides just kind of not getting involved. We get the key stuff, the Europa League, the Champions League spots really sorted out and everything. Relegation. So something like that would speed it up. But I mean, me personally, I find a hard way to make that happen. But that's the thing about this whole coronavirus situation. It's all up in the air. There's no right or wrong answer. But those are our views. Make of it what you will. If you agree,
hopefully.
If you disagree, then it is what it is.
That's nice. Hopefully it does clear up, and I think it will clear up, and decisions will become more obvious.
I mean, bro, I don't even know what's happening right now. Because I just
don't want any rash decisions. That's what I don't want.
Because ultimately, it's our safety that's at risk. But it's like, I saw something that this whole obviously for anyone listening, if you're not in the UK, then you probably might not be aware, but obviously I saw stuff like lockdown could just last until the end of May. I'm thinking that's cool. Then I'm seeing something like, this whole thing could last till October 2021. I'm seeing that, boom, if we get over this first wave of the coronavirus, there will be a second one.
It's coming back.
And that one will be like 10 times more peak. And I'm thinking, I just don't even know where everything is at the moment. I'm just... so
literally,
much. Don't even get me started on that.
Us, ourselves.
Don't even get me started on that 5G shit. I can't be bothered to even look into that. Like, everything's just so complicated, and I just want 2010 to be over, you know, like that.
Yeah,
this year's been tragic, absolutely right. But those are our views on the coronavirus situation. You know, the current pandemic, current events. Kind of don't really know what there will be to discuss next week, but I will cross that bridge when I get to it. And then, we'll move on to the very last segment. It's an interesting one. I didn't get you to prepare for this one because it's kind of meant to be not random, but on the spot, catch you by surprise, see what you think. I didn't prepare for it, so we're both in the same boat. Now, I got sent this Would You Rather by Medusa Nation. Shout out to yourself. He said, would you rather play alongside Ronaldo at international level and play alongside Messi at club level, or vice versa? So, or Messi at international level or Ronaldo at club level? I mean, when I first saw this, I thought it's a no-brainer, really. Like, you know, Messi's won everything at club level. Ronaldo's won, not everything, but most things at international level. So, no-brainer, really. But, you know, I delved deeper into it, and it's like, all right, cool. Messi might not have had the greatest international career. I mean, his international career is still good, but his period, he's been one of the worst. Like, I wouldn't even say it's one of the worst Argentina sides, because going forward, they're incredible. Like,
it's just, I think they've been
mismanaged, no balance,
terribly,
and they're just loads of underperforming. Because as we can look to those strikers like Higuain, Icardi, Aguero, Martinez, Messi. That's just to name a few off the top of my head. Like, they're all ballers, but most of them have actually underperformed anyway. So, cool. You look at Messi on the international stage, you think, like, it's not that good. Why would you want that career? But I might be willing to sacrifice my international career just to be alongside one of the greatest United sides. One of the great... He's been alongside some very good Real Madrid sides. Don't know if they could say one of the greatest in their history, but that's a debate to have another time. But a very solid Real Madrid side. Juventus, like, he's been around the block in Europe. You know, he's done his thing, broken records. And then you look at Messi on the club level, he's won everything, but it's like, like, he's been up. I mean, that's the thing, this is subjective to opinion. Me personally, if I was a footballer, I personally like to venture around. I don't think I could stay at one club forever. So
wait, would it be like, would I be Portuguese and then play for Barcelona?
Portuguese player that's played for Barcelona for your whole career, alongside Messi, or an Argentinian that's played alongside Ronaldo everywhere he's gone.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I was just listening to what you were saying. I think that thing that you're going to touch on at the end of being not staying at one club. I do agree with that. I think I'd get bored, to be honest. I don't want this to take away anything, because, I mean, heck, when I say this, I'm not trying to spark no debates. I personally believe Messi's the GOAT. If you disagree, that's cool. I'm not here to argue and debate with you, because that debate there, I've long done that. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, they're both elite players and one of the best in history. No cap. 100%. But I personally believe Messi is the GOAT. So when I say you stayed at one club, don't mean that in a way to disrespect him, but, you know, you would get a bit... Me personally, I get bored. Like, I like the challenge. I like something new. Do you know what? One of my biggest regrets for Messi himself is the fact he didn't move. I don't know. It's hard to imagine now, obviously in hindsight, where he would go.
I would say,
because I think he's a bit of a... It's maybe contentious, but he's a bit of a luxury player as well. Where it's like it's been Barcelona is what it is because of him.
But now they kind of shoehorn him in the most respectful way.
Yeah. Now they're just milking him for everything he's got.
I do agree that. Like, I feel like obviously his early stages, elite, throughout the 2000s, early 2010s. When the links were coming with Man City in 16, 17, around that time, maybe could have jumped ship. You're in your late 20s, you've done everything you can in Spain, won the Champions League, the Liga, Copa del Rey, everything you won. Like, maybe that move to Man City could have done something, the link up with Pep again. That would have been the perfect time. I feel like now, obviously there were still many sides which will still take Messi. But again, it comes back to that shoehorn thing. I don't know, to be honest, because he's still 31, 32 around that time age. So you still get a lot from him. But around a couple of years ago, may have been the perfect time.
With the question, this obviously you don't obviously know. Are we going based off like how good of a player am I? Like, could we change the course of time type of thing, or do we just live? We've lived the careers that they had.
My interpretation of that question was he didn't say anything about a level, so I assume that you're a decent enough player to be starring every single game alongside this player, and you're just with him in his career. So I don't know if Ronaldo is a striker and striker/winger. You're the cam. Yeah. You're the cam that's followed him from United to Madrid to Juventus.
I don't want to complicate it too much, but it's what you were saying. Like, is it going from the Premier League to Spain to Italy?
It's kind of just what you
still recognise as the best.
What you value more, international club, because some would take staying up being a one club man if it means you've won the Nations League, the Euros, top scorer for your country. One of the I can't include the top scorer because that's Ronaldo. Just you've won the Euros, won Nations League, done stuff for your country, which maybe people can be a little of the Nations League, but it's something you've got there on your record.
Yeah. Or I still think Messi does look at Barcelona as his boyhood. Obviously, he's not Spanish and all that rubbish, but I think that career I think he feels like he owes Barcelona for what they did for him.
Definitely.
Oh, it's tough.
It's very hard. Because that's what I think. Like, when I first saw that, I thought I might not use this question. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah, it looks easy on paper, but when you think about it, it's pretty
very hard. So shout out to Madrid Nation one more time, because
100%.
That was a deceptively hard question.
I'm gonna go with an answer.
Okay, let's
I'm gonna say no variables, just straight. I would go with Ronaldo's club career and Messi's international career.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I feel if Ronaldo won a World Cup, then I would go for him, because imagine winning the World Cup and the Euros in your career. Nuts. So
yeah, but
I feel like for me personally, the fact that the World Cup, Portugal didn't win the World Cup, is the deciding factor in this debate. So I feel like I will go for Ronaldo club level and Messi international level.
We just have to hope we're good enough to win Messi, at least a young Copa America.
Yeah, hopefully. But that question was actually hard for me.
Yeah.
But that was the very first episode. Most certainly not the last of the Footballist Podcast. But also first, David. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much.
You've been a solid guest.
Yes, good chat.
Definitely. And yes, be sure to check out his stuff in the description one more time. One of the best. You're missing out. I said it once, I'll say it again. Be sure to leave. Do they do? I'm so new to this whole podcast thing. Like, do they do likes on Spotify and stuff? Subscriptions?
For Spotify, definitely follow
Okay.
the Footballist Podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Help it with your ratings. If you watch on anything else, if there's like buttons, if there's ratings, definitely give it that to help it out.
Just do that. It's greatly appreciated.
Share it with your friends as well.
Definitely.
And give them something to listen to.
During this whole quarantine period where we're all stuck indoors and you just need something,
100%.
just need a little footy chat to listen to in the background, or just slap on the Footballist Podcast. You can't go wrong.
Exactly. 100.
Okay. Well, thank you for being the very first guest. As I said, it's a great guest. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode of the Footballist Podcast. It's been your boy Jay, Big David, and we're out.
I love Chris Rich.